Hello, my name is Ida Cervantes, and I'm doing my presentation on Costa Rica, more specifically the Semana Santa, which is the Holy Week. And I'm going to be talking about what is eaten during this holiday. So, just some small facts and history about Costa Rica. I wanted to choose the ones that I felt like were the most important or just really kind of captured what Costa Rica was about. So, the Spanish settled in Costa Rica in 1561, and this is really important because it actually shaped a lot of what Costa Rica eats during this holiday, which I will discuss later on. In 1824, Juan Mora Fernandez was the chief of state, and he started the coffee trade. This actually made Costa Rica develop at a very rapid pace. Costa Rica is known for their coffee and bananas and their pineapples. And although Costa Rica is named Costa Rica because it was believed that they would have a lot of gold, and Costa Rica has a rich coast, they actually realized, the Spanish that settled there realized that they would have more use in Costa Rica to grow crops. So you can see Costa Rica is known for their food and everything that they grow. So a little bit of geography. Um, it's really important to note that Costa Rica is in between the Caribbean Sea and Pacific Ocean. Um, they catch fish there daily. In Costa Rica, they catch fish daily. And this is, again, you will see it's very important to La Semana Santa. They have a lot of volcanoes, they have mountains, and they have beautiful beaches, which attracts a lot of tourists. It's just a very beautiful country in general. Tamarindo is probably like their more touristy city. They have a lot of beaches, and it's also very Americanized, but you still get a lot of that Costa Rican culture. So, what is Semana Santa? I think is very important to know before we get into what foods are eaten during this holiday. So, the date varies on the year. It is the week leading up to Easter Sunday. So, this year it's March 28th to April 3rd. It's the most religious holiday that is celebrated in Costa Rica. Some of the things that you'll see during this week is on Ash Wednesday, they'll have a purple drape outside. People have them displayed outside of their house. It just represents royalty. And on Good Friday, they'll have black drapes. And on Easter Sunday, they'll have white drapes. During this week, there is no meat. When Lent occurs, you don't eat meat every Friday. Costa Rica chooses not to eat meat that entire week. The diet is mainly seafood. I don't want to say it's completely seafood because they do. You'll see later on that they do have other foods, but their dishes are mainly seafood. It is encouraged to not consume any alcohol. It used to be like forbidden to drink alcohol, but now it just depends on every county. Um, and most people choose not to drink anyways, though. So it's not a huge deal about whether or not you should drink alcohol. Most people just opt not to. There's also masses and prayer during this week. It's a very beautiful celebration. There's parades, there's festivals, there's fireworks. Families get together. More families get to spend time together because many students, teachers, and people will have the entire week off, or at least the weekend of Easter Sunday off. People will go to the beach and just have picnics, eat lots of food, spend time together. Again, it's a very beautiful celebration, and it's probably one of the biggest ones in Costa Rica. One thing about the beaches, though, people will refuse to swim in the ocean because on like Holy Thursday or Good Friday because they believe that they will either turn into a fish or they will drown because they believe that God is angry, which I thought was a very interesting thing to learn. But that's what makes religion so like unique and beautiful is that each person kind of has their own boundaries and like their own beliefs. And I just thought it was really neat to point that out. Starting with the first food, it's a food item called chivere. It's a squash. It's a very, very popular food item, and farmers will work really hard the weeks following up to Holy Week to make sure it's ready. It's probably one of the key foods and ingredients that are used for the meals. So they can make it like into candied squash. Most of the time, it's boiled in water with brown sugar, along with like cinnamon and like ginger and stuff. It just depends, but most of the time, it's brown sugar, and it takes a really long time for it to caramelize. Um, people do like people will make chivere food items like throughout the year or whenever it's available. But since people will have the week off, they can actually take their time to like make it like properly and everything. So they'll use it to make jelly or chivere pudding or empanadas. They'll stuff the chivere in empanadas. So this is just a picture of chivere jelly. These are chivere empanadas. They also make dulce de leche empanadas and miel de coco empanadas. Dulce de leche is like caramel, and then miel de coco is coconut in a condensed milk mixture. Next is ceviche. So I thought the ceviche was very interesting because so if you've never had ceviche, it's basically raw fish marinated in lime juice. It's very common in many cultures. I'm Mexican and we make ceviche in my house a lot, and I know in the Philippines have people there have their own version of ceviche. It's mostly made with lime juice and like onions. In this one they add peppers. And one thing that I thought was very interesting was that they will add ketchup and mayonnaise on their ceviche, which I personally was very intrigued by because in my ceviche that I know and love, we do not add any other condiments besides the seasonings that were already originally in there, like salt, pepper, lime, all of that stuff. So it was very interesting to see that, and they may even add Tabasco. So the next food that they'll eat is tamales. So tamales are normally made with meat. Again, if you've ever had a tamal, most of the time I'll have like pork or chicken. Um, but obviously they can't eat meat while they're celebrating the Semana Santa. So they'll make what is called a tamal mudo or a mute tamale. So the meat is replaced with ground beans. And because they love to eat seafood during this week and they mostly eat seafood, they'll have canned sardines or tuna and tomato sauce inside of the tamales. I also thought that was very unique because I've never heard of a tamal with beans in there. We have like sweet tamales in my culture. I know this is about Costa Rica, but I just like comparing it to my culture because I think it's a really unique take and like twist on tamales, and um, it's really cool how they still get to eat tamales during this week by modifying it. Next is cod. So it's white meat fish, and this is when that history fact comes in handy. When the Spanish settled, the use of cod meals was integrated into the culture. Um, they dry it and salt it, and they'll even put it in broth to make soup. Because of the Spanish using cod so often, it became like a staple in Costa Rican culture, which I thought was really cool. And again, like I had mentioned, like as you can see, fish is a very big part of the Semana Santa's like food. Um, and the fact that that Costa Rica is right in between the two oceans is very convenient, and it's a great way to make sure that all these meals always taste fresh, and they're just very well known in Costa Rica. So the other meal I wanted to talk about was pan casero. It's typically a sweet bread. Um, it also people make this very often. Like homemade bread is something that can be had at any time of the year, but again, because they do have the week off during Semana Santa, they do have the time to make the bread and have it perfect. Um, it they can make it savory. They'll usually put it over firewood or leña, and it's supposed to taste better that way. There are different ways to make pan casero, but during Semana Santa, having it sweet is what is preferred. And I just thought the shape of the bread was very interesting, and honestly, it looks really delicious. But I thought that that was really neat. And yeah, they have so many different food items, which each one just blew my mind. I thought everything they made was so amazing. And then these are just some of my references. I did a lot of extensive research. I wanted to make sure that I had as much information as I could on every food. but I hope to learn more in the future. Thank you for watching.